Hello, my name is Sam Mills and I am asking for your vote for the Hibiscus and Bays Local Board. A little about myself. My wife and I were lucky enough to purchase our first home in Stanmore Bay, and we have been privileged enough to call ourselves coasties ever since. I am currently a practicing lawyer and have been a business owner in the past with international experience, primarily based out of China. I spend my spare time playing basketball at Orewa Beach with people from all over our community. And when I get a chance, I like to practice Mandarin Chinese and very basic Māori. I want to transfer my advocacy skills as a lawyer for the benefit of our local community to ensure that we get more than our fair share of the pie from the super city. What is the local board and why should you vote? Local boards represent the communities in their local areas and make decisions on local issues, activities and facilities. This includes the likes of playgrounds, reserves and sporting facilities. The local board also gets to manage your money paid through rates to support local community initiatives through discretionary grants. The most important function of the local board, in my opinion, however, is its role in taking your views, the views of the Hibiscus Coast, to Auckland City Council itself to ensure that your views are not only heard, but actioned. When put in this context, your local board is the most important mechanism for you as a ratepayer to get your voice heard. In turn, the local board should be open, welcoming, and visible to you, the ratepayer. After all, it is you who pays the salary of council staff and elected members. Here is a brief outline of my priorities as a local board member. Priority number 1, Penlink. An efficient transport system is high amongst the desires of our local community. Every minute spent in our cars and in public transport is a further minute we are unable to spend with our families and getting amongst our local community. It is my priority to ensure that all projects that lead to this time being reduced are given the full attention of Auckland City Council. I will use my position on the local board to push for such projects. Penlink, otherwise known as the Peninsula Link Road Project, has become a mythical project that people talk about and greatly desire, but seems to be one of those projects put on the back burner in favour of other projects around Auckland City. This is unacceptable for those of us that live on the coast. AT has projected these time savings provided by Penlink to be as much as 12 to 18 minutes for those of us who use the route, leading to an almost 40-minute saving all round per day. Over a work week, saving 180 minutes or 3 hours that we could be using watching our families participate in community events. When put in context, over a year this leads to an astounding 156 additional free hours at home for the average commuter. The land has been purchased and resource consents are in place. The primary issue preventing the project from going forward is funding. If I am elected, I will use my position to advocate for boot funding. Boot funding being build, own, operate, transfer, which will hopefully attract private funding to bring the project to realisation faster while ensuring that the underlying assets are transferred back to the City Council, we as ratepayers, once certain benchmarks are hit. Any boot funding that I advocate for of Penlink must include provision for public transport for the community. That goes into priority number 2, public transport. I believe in roads, as can be seen from my support for Penlink. However, I am not a believer that additional capacity for cars alone is the solution. Rather, I have become a very recent convert to the wonders of public transport. On the coast, comprising of our wonderful NX1 and NX2 bus services, along with our ferry services which provide quick and efficient routes into the CBD for those of us that are not as fortunate as others to work locally. Although public transport is under the ambit of AT, the local board provides an important voice representing your views to those that make the decisions that underlie our public transport system. Although I am a firm believer in public transport, I am just as frustrated as you when a scheduled bus does not arrive or when the rain starts at the Hibiscus Coast Park and Ride with very little areas to escape the downpour. When done right, public transport is amazing, and I would not exchange it for my own car. Who wants to drive themselves into town when one can be chauffeured into town by their own friendly driver while catching up on emails or that latest show on Netflix? I will ensure that our community's voice is heard by AT to make sure that we continue to receive a top-notch Northern Express service into town, along with the relevant feeder buses that help keep our personal cars off the road during the week, freeing the space up on the motorway for the tradies and parents that really need their vehicles to get to their places of work. Priority number 3, freedom camping. or restrictions thereon. Freedom camping is an issue that we as a community are vocal about, and the consensus is clear, being not in my backyard. Unfortunately, with freedom camping comes crowded car parks, waste and rubbish being left in our local reserves and on our beaches, and inevitable additional pressure on public facilities which are paid for by us as locals, including the likes of public toilets, which we as a community must upkeep and maintain. If elected, I will not support any expansion to the ability to freedom camp. To the contrary, I will seek that freedom camping remains as restricted as it is today. Further to this, I will support any initiative to more effectively enforce the rules that are currently in place, including provision for funding for enforcement. The current self-contained freedom camping rules are not effectively enforced, and these self-contained stickers can be purchased swiftly by those whose vehicles are not exactly self-contained, leading to undesirable consequences which I will not expand upon. This is our community, and standards must be upheld. There are facilities where these freedom campers can go to that require a small amount of money to maintain common facilities like public showers and toilets. It is my belief that these campers should be utilising these facilities. The local ratepayer should not be subsidising tourists to come to New Zealand to do holidays on the cheap. And my last priority, open government. Open government, even at a local level, is important for the healthy function and transparency of the local board, who are responsible for making decisions and allocating public funds, your funds, on your behalf. To this end, I am a strong believer in governmental transparency to you, the ratepayer. At the end of the day, as elected representatives, we work for you, and as such, you should be aware of everything that goes on at your local board. At present, the only meetings open to the public are the monthly local board meetings held in Orewa and in Browns Bay. Currently closed to public view are what are called local board workshops. If elected, my vote will go towards opening up these workshops so that our deliberations as a local board are seen by you, the people whom we represent. This is not unprecedented, and to my mind is common sense policy. Devonport Takapuna and the Kaipaitaki local boards have already made their workshops open to the public. The Hibiscus and Bays local board has tried 3 times to do this via vote and has been unsuccessful to date in these transparency efforts. I intend to use your voice to change this. As a voter, you will receive your voting papers in the mail from the 20th of September. To send your vote, drop the completed voting paper at your closest post box. The last day for sending your postal vote is the 8th of October. Your vote for Sam Mills is a vote for Penlink. Your vote for Sam Mills is a vote for sensible and accountable local government. If these proposed policies sound good to you, please vote for me, Sam Mills, in the upcoming elections. I very much appreciate your support and look forward to representing you and our greater community on the Hibiscus and Bays local board.